When you go, as Phil was saying, going to that fifth inning, whether it was Michael King kind of losing his command, that at bat that you had to draw the walk, and you of course see Mookie come up to get the two-run base hit, what's just kind of, as you guys are building an inning like that, what does it do for the team and how it can kind of change momentum?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Michael, has pitched well against us in his career, and we knew that going in. We wanted to be a little bit more aggressive, but certain situations calls for being less aggressive. But in my situation, I had bases loaded, so I wanted to be aggressive to the first pitch strike, and I had a sweeper a little bit up, and I fell off, and then I just wanted to change up. And so, in that situation, I'm just trying to hit a fly ball. Just trying to get a sac fly. Don't want to ground into a double play to lose momentum. So, just kind of battling. He was, he went change-up, a lot of change-ups, front door sinkers. So just trying to battle, and finally I was able to lay off a change-up down below the zone. And Mookie was huge getting that hit. Shohei had good pitching, timely hitting, good defense. That's what won us the game today.
How confident are you that last call would have stood up if they challenged? And were you surprised they didn't?
On which one?
The walk, the last pitch.
I didn't even, is that a strike?
It was close.
Oh. I don't ever look at the iPad. That's news to me. Glad he didn't call it. Maybe it makes up for the strikeout.
Yes.
Being able to put together kind of at-bats in that inning, so it's just kind of been one of the things as an offense the last month or two now that you guys have been able to do consistently. That's led to consistent production.
Yeah, we got good players that can control strike zones, get timely hits. It comes together. Sometimes there'll be a 1 or 2 game stretch where it doesn't happen, but we know we're okay. And when you can control the zone with the guy that was on the mound today and get him out after 4 1/3, that was a huge win for us. So we knocked granted yesterday was an opener, but every starter out before the 6th inning. So that's huge for us, especially with this bullpen, to get those guys in and really make them work in the first game. Even though we lost, we got all their big guys in, and kind of changed the series of how they went about it with the bullpen.
Mookie has been reluctant to say I'm back or anything.
Well, it's baseball. We can't say that. It can go sideways real quick.
Does it feel like he's back?
Yeah, I mean, he's swinging the bat really well. I'm not going to be the one to jinx it either, but he's confident in himself. Missed swing balls in the left center, and just like the last one against Jason Adams, that's a tough AB, and he's a line drive right field. So we're trending upward. How about that?
Double play at the end look familiar?
Yeah, that's what Max and I said. We've seen that before. But yeah, he's been playing great defense, since he took over shortstop and starting to hit now. So, things are looking good for us.
Freddie, going into this game, I know you always want to do well against their starter, but knowing that Mason Miller is well rested, Adrian Morehome's there too, but Mason's ready to go. Does that factor in the early innings?
We know we got to beat starters as an offense. That's what we knew we had to do in this game. We know who's at the back end of that bullpen. So getting the lead was huge, and we'd take them out of the game if we got the lead, and we were able to do that the last couple of days.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dave, looking back at that 5th inning, just how pivotal were the at-bats, whether it was the bases loaded or the quality from the top of the order. Then you have someone like Freddie who can work the count, and for Mookie to come in. When you look at that inning, how did that just kind of not only change things, but obviously get Michael King out of the game?
Well, I thought the Freddie bat was the bat of the game. It was like the Tucker bat the other night. Just a will to just fight to win pitches, and he earned a walk right there, walked in a run. Then Mookie came up with a big hit to drive in a couple more, but that kind of desire that compete was big. And Michael King has obviously given us fits, a really good pitcher, but the way Freddie competed right there flipped the game and changed the momentum.
Going into this game, we talked so much about Emmett and just the bullpens that he had this week and how he was able to work through a few things mechanically to get back that execution. To see how this game just played out, to see how he was able to carry that over from his bullpen, how encouraging was that for you and for him?
Yeah, really encouraging. I thought today his fastball was good. Command can still get better. I thought towards the end of that outing there were some really good throws in there. I thought the curveball was the star for me tonight, versus left, versus right, and it kind of slowed those guys down a little bit. Thought Chucky did a really nice job with them. And for him to, get through 5 innings, with a lead, give us a chance to win a ball game. Like I told him after the game, this is something for us to build on and keep going to work this week and be ready for your next one.
That fifth inning is the type of inning that spiraled on him a lot this year. What changed for him to be able to get out of that spot?
You know, he got a, you know, I think a couple big strikeouts there. I think there was a walk that fifth inning, but he weathered that. You know, he was a hitter away from not finishing that fifth inning. But for me, I thought he just bared down and you know, made pitches when he needed to versus, you know, feeling it with the mechanics or being uncertain. But I thought, you know, right there, he was determined to, you know, get that last hitter out.
How much is Emmett bearing down and having that determination in that inning more of what he was maybe lacking in his prior 3 or 4 starts and what he needs to be focusing on to take that next step?
Well, I think that, you know, when you don't feel great, it's an easy default to focus on your mechanics, to try to feel something. But, you know, in the heat of the moment of a game, you know, you have to find a way to get past that and be external and get the hitter and understand what the game is trying to do and what the game's telling you. So he's not there yet. He's getting there. It takes innings, major league innings, to get to that point. But he's getting better. He's getting better, and no one questions the skill set.
When you talked about Mookie having intent at the plate, that 2-run single, kind of laying off some outside pitches and waiting for something over his way, is that an example of that, of kind of matching the swing feel with a better approach to knowing what he wants to do up there?
It is. You know, he looks over ball really well. That's kind of what he's always done. But when he gets careful, that's when you start getting in between. And so, yeah, you might open yourself up to a little bit more swing and miss, but, you know, with the velocity these guys have these days, you got to have some intent, you know, with your swing and trust it. So the last week, I've seen a lot of good things from Mookie.
Do you think he's tapped into... at the start of the series that it was kind of too early to consider the implications of this thing right on the division standings, whatever, but the fact that you guys have a 10-game lead at this stage of the season, what does that kind of say about how you guys have played and what you guys have done up to this point?
Yeah, it says a lot about what we've done. I think, I don't remember the last time we played them here, but I think we had a 1.5 game lead, and now it's 10. But we see these guys in 4 days for 4. So, you know, right now I think it's a sign that we've kind of stayed the course, doing a lot of things well. But, you know, we got a hungry A's team coming, and we got to play well, and then, you know, we'll get these guys at our place next weekend.
Do you think that Mookie has kind of tapped into the more freed-up mentality that he ended last season with?
You know, even last year, I don't think he. I think it's different. I think that there's a lot more season left than where he was last year, where he kind of, I don't know, basically wrote it off to play for the team. And I think right now he's in a much better place than he was even last year. You know, mentally with the swing, all of it. So he's in a good spot that I see no reason why we can't, you know, keep this going.
How nice was it to be able just to use Edgardo Enriquez to close out this one to get the save?
It was great. It was great. You know, when you don't have Evan, you don't have Edwin. You know, Dreyer was down. We used Tanner in an up-down situation. So these things are good for young players to get experience and to feel what it's like in big spots. And he's in the trust tree, and I think it's fitting because he's earned it, and that's when I feel good about, you know, giving guys opportunities.
Shohei had RBI single in third inning. How big was that?
Big RBI. You know, Alex gets on by a base hit. We bunt him over, and then Shohei gets a hit to just kind of get us on the board. You know, King's been really good. So to catch a lead, I thought early was big.
I think he has still tape on his left knee. So is he still not 100%?
He's not 100%, no, but it's certainly playable.
As he prepares for his next start, I guess, do you guys, considering you've got just 7 in a row, do you look at this one a little bit, look at his next week a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think that, you know, we'll see. It's a little bit of a day-to-day thing. Obviously, he's slotted for Wednesday, but if something tells us otherwise, then we'll pivot. But right now, as we sit here, we're planning on starting him on Wednesday.
Your 3 former MVPs drove in all 4 runs today. Does it feel like it's been a while since all 3 of them were going at the same time?
Yeah, it does. It does. I think the last 6 weeks, Shohei's been out of this world. I think Freddie's been very consistent all year. And then now we got Mookie this last week, on track. So it has been, a better part of the season that we haven't had all 3 of those guys. So, you can see when those 3 guys are threats, it just kind of takes a lot of pressure off everybody else too.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys.
And then coming into the start, you had shared that you had a bullpen in which you just felt like when it came to the execution of your pitches, they were in a really good spot. How encouraging then was it to see that play out in the game?
Yeah, felt really good. Execution was a lot better today, so that always helps. That was the main focus coming into today. Yeah, felt good.
When you look at just this outing, is this like a confidence booster for you, just as you are looking to kind of get the consistent results of being where you want to be?
Yeah, I think you got to try to separate the process from the results as much as possible. So I feel really good about where the work and the process is right now, and just try to build on it.
What leads to that execution being better? Is that mostly a mechanical thing for you?
Maybe being a little more comfortable in my mechanics, but also just the focus in between starts of maybe trying to get a little more execution instead of delivery thoughts. I had 7 days, so I got to throw 2 bullpens this week, which is nice.
And did you feel like you were more convicted with high leverage counts with the pitch selection and really buying into attacking hitters in that way?
Yeah, I thought Chucky called a great game. And then Mark and Connor putting together a game plan did a really good job too. So trusted that completely, and worked out.
Fifth inning is the type of inning that kind of spiraled you at different points in the season. What allowed you to kind of get that last execution against so much of that?
I think just being more convicted, like you said, trying to stay within my mechanics, slow the game down a little bit as much as possible, and it worked out.
Have you been getting bogged down a little bit by delivery thoughts this year as you've been working through stuff, even like in games?
Maybe, I think it's, got to have a balance between thinking about your delivery and thinking about execution. Sometimes it goes hand in hand. Sometimes, you got to focus on one more than the other, I think.
When you are looking to execute, it can be kind of a broad term, but for you specifically, do you feel like feeling strongly in that conviction about the pitches that you're throwing helps with that?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I think it's just, hitting your spots at the end of the day. That's all that matters. So.
In between starts, was there anything specific that really helped you get the delivery to that spot?
I think there's a few things. It's pretty consistent with what we've been working on the whole year. It's not like we went in a completely different direction. It's just getting better at being in my throw and not coming out of it later in the games.
You had to watch just kind of the results from the first couple months of the year, and has it been tough to kind of navigate the frustration of the lack of results while you've been kind of looking at the throw?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is, like I said, trying to separate where the process is from the results, which is pretty hard to do when you're not pitching well and losing games. So, even on a win, I think it's just as important to stick to the work and keep it going.
On the broadcast, EK was talking a lot about how you were able to land your breaking stuff for strikes. How does that just kind of help you use your full pitch mix and when you're especially navigating through a lineup like theirs?
Yeah, especially when you're facing a really good lineup, I think trying to change speeds and make them respect stuff in zone that's not the fastball is really important. Connor kind of worked with me on changing the curveball a little bit, so I think that got a little easier to locate, which helped.
Thank you so much.
Cool, yeah.
Great job today.
Just kind of walk us through that 5th inning, how important it was to get to King when he kind of got a little shaky command.
Yeah, doesn't happen very often, especially against a good pitcher like that. So, while he was trying to find the zone, that was kind of our time to be aggressive and kind of pounce on him. And Freddie had a great at-bat. Pies got hit, and Freddie had a really good at-bat. And then I was just able to kind of keep applying pressure, and I got a good pitch to hit. And hit it.
Are you ready to say you're back to normal now? Is it time?
Nah, it ain't time yet. We'll see. We got to keep on going, and just keep working. Just keep working at it, and it's obviously the ebbs and flows of the season. So we're in a good spot right now.
What have the last 2 weeks felt like to be able to contribute as much as you have on the offensive side?
It just feels normal. It feels normal. It feels like I can go be a ball player again. I can kind of let my abilities show. I can kind of change my approach during at bats, or I'm not so upset about outs because I feel like I'm going about it the right way. So again, I just feel like all the experience I have, knowledge I have, I can finally use because I'm equipped.
In Minneapolis, you were talking about how kind of the beauty of what you found was that you didn't really know what it was, and you didn't have to think about it. Has that felt like it's carried forward, and kind of what's been the key there?
Yeah, like I said, I know what it ends up being, but getting there, the process, I know it, but it's just different. It's different than what I used to do. I used to have things I would think about that would produce a swing, and now I'm actually just training my body every day. So kind of one and the same, but they're just two completely different ways going about it, and still trying to get fully used to it, but it's working, so I'm not changing it.
Was that just in the beginning of the season, early parts when you came back, about having to learn how to play the game in a different way? Did you learn anything about yourself that you didn't know throughout that process while doing that? I just mostly learned that all the stuff that I used to do don't apply now. So I really had to focus on who I am today and try and fix that person instead of trying to use, the 27-year-old guy to apply to the 33-year-old guy. It just doesn't work. The game's not the same, and I'm not the same. So I really had to learn who I was and be the best version of who I am today.
There have been times in the past where you would beat yourself up by just hitting in the cage. Is that part of what you've gotten away from?
No, well, I still do that. But I think at that time I was just trying to find a cue and take 1,000 swings with a cue to see if it works. And now I don't have to take that many swings just because I'm literally starting from zero every day instead of trying to use yesterday, try and build on it. It's like, no, I just start from zero every day and build it up, and it's the easiest way for it to become the same every day.
That change in approach, or you can even say change in mindset, is that something that you learned on your own, or is that something that someone maybe brought to you or kind of shared with you?
Nah, I think the hitting coaches really kind of helped me with it. Freddie obviously has helped me with it. But yeah, it was like a collective effort with this whole thing. I mean, I got an amazing team around me, and they support me, and we finally got to a good spot.
What are your thoughts? You guys didn't face Mason Miller this series in any of the 3 games. Thoughts on not having to deal with that?
I don't care. I mean, yay. I don't know really what you want me to say.
Whatever you want.
No. Hey, it is what it is. Well, I'm sure we'll see him at some point.
Thank you.